Alright, so here's the second ship in the Sector 001/Wolf 359 battle, Federation Assault Fleet battle damage. This is a generic Galxi Class, and the reason it's gold is the LEDs that are in here are the flickering amber LEDs, and I noticed when I put gold rather than silver or white, I changed the hue enough that I liked the way it looked more deeper and more richer. And so here's the lower saucer, and this is the start of some type of ribbing right here. Those are the escape pods. I'm going to do something as far as they're ejected, and on the top two, and then the battle section. I don't know what I did with the top battle section, but in the back there's a I don't know if it's RCA. It's basically the headphone jack that's in there. And it's mounted to that one. Similar to this, it's going to be a brass rod, and that'll actually support it. And in this one, on this Borg sphere, the whole bottom section is epoxy, and same thing with the whole neck of the. Oh, actually, it's right here. There it is. There it is. So that's it right there. That's where it plugs into. I think it's a 332nd. I can't remember what size jack it is, but it plugs right in there. It's enough that it supports it. I wanted it in a spot that I could still pose it whichever way it was going to be posed, plus it's not going to be in the way. Originally I kind of wanted something back here, but it seemed a little weird, so I didn't do that. But let's see what it looks like with the lights out. These lights. And one more. Okay, so and what I'm going for is right here when you look into the side of it, that's where you can see the plasma fires. And I haven't that strong ribbon that you see on the top, towards the top of it, which is actually the bottom. That's because it's not pushed together correctly. And I want something in there that so it doesn't look like actual little drill holes, something where it's more like ribbons or lines, something more like that. Like I like kind of how you see that light gap at the top from the two hulls aren't put together. And that's kind of what I want to do on the inside. And I also like where you can actually see the hot spots, where you actually not quite see the LEDs, but I don't really want the effect to be frosted. When you look at a fire, you're going to see the heart of it, and you can see different parts of it, and you see all different things. And you can see as I hold still, it's flickering, and that's the point of it. And you can't quite see it here, but there's actual decks in there and whatnot. And there's no detailing on the decks. There's just decks, generic decks. And I don't know how many I built, but I don't think there's enough to be accurate. But you're going to see this at a bit of a distance for the actual Borg diorama. The only thing I really want to change is a little bit more detailing. Change the ribbing. As you can see, it shouldn't be this uniform if it blew up. The top part of it, you can see how that's just a little too uniform. There needs to be something different about that. It's too clean. The bottom is, it needs to be more random. On the engineering section, this is supposed to be the warp. This nacelle kind of exploded. These are supposed to be the warp coils. If I remember when I was building this, I looked online. I counted how many coils there were. I think this is accurate. I can't remember if I went for accurate or if I just went for effect, because I think I remember either there's 12 or like something in the 20s, so this might not be right. And this isn't finished, but what you can see is what it looks like the superstructure. It's a little bit more random. It's all bent up. And then back here, there's actually a room back here. If I remember one of the episodes, Riker or somebody was back there when they were doing something with the warp core. And then here's the two buzzard collectors. There's actually two of them. They're just two LEDs. One is not plugged in, or one's not wired up, and it's going to stay dead. And it's going to need to be light blocked a little more. It's actually, you can't see it, but it's copper. And then this one is just functioning. It's a flickering LED. But I'm going to do some kind of dressing so it doesn't look so much like an LED. But that's kind of what the device looks like in the show. And underneath here, there's just flickering blue LEDs. And that's supposed to look like it's the plasma reaction stalling out or working or whatever. And then the only other thing for this one is most of the escape pods are just going to be ejected. And I'm going to have the door openings. And what I did to know where to do this is the decals that came with it. I just laid them on whatever section it was, and I cut out around them. And then I traced down there, then I cut it out. So the decals will line up And I can also save the decal, so whatever I put on the back as the opening hatch, I can use a decal for. But I want to do is something is maybe it looks at some of the escape pods are ejecting as it's happening, and I'm looking for something that can be readily bought, because I don't want to manufacture 20 or 30 of these, having them all to have to look exactly the same. Even if I do a casting with resin, I think it's going to be really hard to get, you know, a few dozen of these to be exactly the same, so it looks uniform enough. So I'm looking for something I can buy. These are some metal jewelry things. The only problem is I kind of like the shape. It's sort of like I don't know, some kind of squared off ball sort of. And if I remember right, the escape pods are trapezoids with a big fat top, and they're kind of conically shaped towards, they kind of go down a little bit, but they're still kind of like a trapezoid shape. This is slightly too big, maybe enough that it's okay. And what I plan on doing is sticking those on the end of some type of rod. Here's this one, and then this one is a little more sturdy, but is too obtrusive. I think this would work better. And I was even contemplating even a 0.25 millimeter fiber optic to go in there with a blinking red light or something. I have to look at Voyager to see what animation there is on escape pods, but something where it's a little more animated than just being static. So that's it for the generic Galxi. Last video did the generic Defiant class, and then here is the beginnings of a Defiant that's not damaged. The fiber optics are in for all the navigation lights, strobes in the back, and then I hollowed out, this is the clear one, and I hollowed out for whatever those are, the blue lights that are, I don't know, the impulse generator or something. And then back underneath here, it's probably better. And here, these have a light red glow. If you look at the very first scene of when the Defiant is leaving DS9, the very first time it left, it shows a lot of this. These are strobes. I think it's a solid. That's a strobe. Or no, the strobe on the bottom right there. There's two more strobes kind of on the bottom right there. Solid. Obviously solid. Obviously solid. Solid. And solid, but very, very faint right here. And that's all that I'm going to do. I'm not going to do any weapon systems on this. And these are small. These are actually 0.5 millimeter, which are kind of too big. But it's going to be so far away. You're going to see it kind of like this, even farther than that where my hand is. That if I use any smaller fiber optic, it's not going to work well. And then some of these, like right here, those fiber optics are actually for the windows. This is the bottom. I put fiber optics for the windows that kind of, I can show you one of these. I'm not going to show you, but on the bottom, the inset of the saucer section, or whatever you want to call it, the inset underneath right here, there's windows for that. And that is it. The only other thing that I'm doing as far as the fleet is I bought a generic saucer off eBay. I don't remember the class, what it's for. I had to look at my eBay history to remember what it's for. And the casting's real rough. It was a reject casting, but I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. And the other thing is 2500 Nebula. That's all I got, other than a few of the cadets. And right here, let's see, Reliance here. This is cool. This is what I like right here. Oops. This is the one I'm actually interested in doing. Right here. This is the battle head, and I think this is from what's his name? Oh, what is his name? I can't remember his name now. Those are the clear parts. I can't remember his name now, but he does this too. He does a few others. Man, I can't remember his name. He also does the clear parts for the Stargazer and the Saratoga. I can't remember what his, but I'm sure you remember who it is. And then there's the Enterprise D Battlehead, which I don't think the saucer is even going to be in it. And then the Enterprise E, which I haven't done anything with. and I have a 2500. Where is it? A 2500 Enterprise B. But I don't remember any Excelsior variants that look like the Enterprise B that were not the Enterprise B, with the expanded science section in the hull and the modified deck on top. From what I remember, they were all actual Excelsior models used, so I don't know how I could use an Enterprise B Excelsior as a non-Enterprise Excelsior variant. And I don't know where it is. I can't remember what I did with it. And that's it, other than working on the Borg sphere, the advancing mechanism, the screw mechanism for the Borg sphere, the Borg hanger, the hanger tube assembly, and then the actual Borg Cube itself, which I don't really want to do a video until I can get the lighting inside of it. Each of the 6 sides is going to have, this is just foam board with green light strips on it. I tried soldering them. I always have a problem with soldering the LED tape. I've done it before many times. I've done it with that scratch build that I'm doing there, and a few others, my 1 through 50 refit, but they just have a hard time with it. So I'm actually just going to buy connectors, and I just haven't gotten around to buying them. When I buy them, they come from China, so they take a long time. And each one of these sheets is about 6 strips, or 6 rolls. Each roll is 15 feet. So it's a lot, and this just slides up here on the inside behind this right here, and each one faces the outside. And what you have inside the cube is a 1x1 wood frame, clear plexiglass tinted green, because initially I was going to do clear lights with green tinted, but I was always getting this white, not overexposure, but all this white would always come through, so I switched to green LEDs. So I'm not sure if I'm going to clean off the glass or whatnot. And all the wires that you see sticking through is, I'm not sure if I can see one, but here we go. There's a light that shines backwards, so it's on the surface, and you can see the actual depth of the cube is like 2 inches or so. And if the light goes all this way, then everything on the surface, you won't see any surface detail, you only see the green glow. By having the light go backwards, it's illuminating all the detail that's in there. And it's kind of hard to see, but there's a whole bunch of, I did like a lot of work inside before I realized that it's kind of a waste. You're really not going to see a whole lot. And I actually waste a lot of time doing that. And there's a lot of variance with how I'm doing the surface detail. And I finally went with this resin casting right here, which is actually, the cool thing about that is that kit, the old Monogram Battlestar. I bought that off eBay like 2 or 3 years ago. It came with an aftermarket resin upgrade kit, and that resin upgrade kit, all I did was a bunch of recastings. Like here's for the pylon, I don't know what you call them, but the fighter pylons that come off the side. That's what that is, and these almost sort of like wedges right here. The other ones just recast in various locations. And I went through a few different iterations. This was my first one, which is using smaller pieces, which doesn't look very good. The larger ones look better. Obviously, it's not all painted. And I was actually going to go for like flat sheet styrene with tubing on it, kind of like in TNG, but that just didn't look very good. This in here, all the stuff that you see, this will all be cut away. You're not going to see any of this grading. I started to cut some of it away on one of the sides. You can see there's a lot right in here that has to be cut away. And then after I made it, I had to, right there is an eye hook that goes to the superstructure. I actually had to put that in because when I change it, it weighs so much that it's the only way to do it safely. And this side actually, it's on wheels so it can move around. This side actually looks the best, and that was my last one I did. You can see the technique's down a little bit more. This all has to get cut out. There's no detailing adding. It's just there's like 2 or 3 layers underneath of various different things that show different detailing. And some of the cool stuff you can use is those hook and latch rugs that your mom used to make you make as a kid. You get them in black, and that's what's used underneath. And on top of the plexiglass is, I don't have any handy, but kitchen liner, shelf liner. If you look right here, that's kitchen liner. That really, here it is, looks good to diffuse it. And then there's several layers of various different things. This is actually Romex wire stripped down and painted. And I tried different things. I tried wood, and I tried putting Mr. Surfacer on there to take out the wood grain, but that didn't really work. And I finally, this kind of came to me. I was showing someone the old monogram kit, and this came to me. It was perfect. I've done a bajillion castings of it, and it's not anywhere near done. None of the sides. I just get to a certain level, I move to the next side. The only downside to that is my technique kind of changes, so it's not too uniform. This one definitely has to get redone, which is what this white is, altering how I previously did, and all this little stuff has to come out. And this is what I first started with, little pieces of wood, but there wasn't enough detailing. I like this a lot better. The only problem is it's a little Death Star-ish as far as like small city sprawl. And then this is where the Borg, the sphere actually comes out. And with that, that's what all this is. You can't see it. I'll do a separate video when I get the lighting hooked up. This is all lit up. There's landing light. This is all illuminated. I'm going to put fiber optics in it. I'm not sure, like an amber, maybe a yellow, because inside the Borg, actually, from what I've seen, a lot of it isn't green. It's actually like an amber color, which is weird. This has been dry brushed with a few different colors of green, with the base of black, which lets you get in the crevices. And this is where the ball comes out of. There's no reference anywhere. It's something that I just created because I wanted to see the ball come out, yet you need to have detail on the inside. So this is something that is my own creation. And this is actually the screw mechanism. I tried a belt-driven one, I tried direct drive, tried everything. Now it's actually just going to be connected to the motor. The only problem is I figured out how I'm going to do the drive mechanism. It's no longer going to be a belt system. It's going to be a direct drive. And I just, now that I figured that part out, I just haven't actually made that part yet. And it runs off of 12 volts. And right here, in the odd shape, it's not quite, I'm experimenting with the different shapes. This is where the ball will actually be right there. And it rides this screw mechanism. This sets underneath right here. And that goes inside here, and it advances out the door. And I haven't done anything as far as actuators for the doors. I haven't started the doors. I don't even know what to do. And the whole thing is going to be sealed up, the backside and the bottom. And I'm contemplating making the whole cube rotate, which I think is the best approach. The only downside is all of these. Let me grab one. Boop, 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 boop. All of the starships that are going to be in the fleet are going to be attached in some fashion. So as it rotates, this is supposed to rotate with it. I mean, I know it's all relative, but nonetheless, it'll be a little weird. And what's going to be a half moon of some kind of transparent material. Behind it will be some kind of star field of some kind. And then the presentation is you're standing here as this rotates, so I can attach some of the ships to the background. And I want the Borg Cube to rotate, but I don't think that's the best idea. It'll be easy to do. I just, with the whole, if ships are attached to it, that's where it starts to look silly. But I haven't figured that out. Alright, that's it for now. Thanks.